Hello and welcome back to Motakamel Financial Track. In the previous lecture, we had started talking about the options in configuration, and today we'll proceed with the setup and configuration. This part is going to be about the chart of accounts. The variable we have first is main account is not included in the sub account, and it is used if the facility wants to create the chart of accounts randomly, where you can link the number of the sub-account or the code of the sub-account to any of the main accounts. If you want to use that, then go ahead and activate this variable, but in case you do not want to activate it, then the chart of accounts will be built in a specific sequence. The first digits in the code of the sub-account are going to be the number of the main account. So if the main account's number is, let's say, 1101, then the number of the first sub-account is going to be 110101, and the second sub-account is going to be 110102, and so on. As for the variable auto-generate the sub-accounts depending on the main account number, this one is used when the facility wants to build the chart of accounts in an automated sequence where the system auto-generates the number of the sub-account once you've selected the main account. So if you select the number of the main account, the system creates a number for the account following the last number of a sub-account linked to the main account you've selected. If we said that, for example, the main account number that we've selected is 11, and the user had coded sub-accounts for that account already, and the last code used had been 1103, then the next sub-account number is going to be 1104, and that's going to be automatic. The next variable is select accounts sublevel, and this one is used when the facility wants to select a single unified level for all of the sub-accounts, and those are the accounts of the last level in the tree of accounts. When you activate this variable, you get an empty field here on the right to enter the number of that level that the facility wants to use. And based on that number, it will not be allowed to create a sub-account at a higher or a lower level than the one that you have selected or the one that you've set. And this basically helps the user or the facility create a chart of accounts that will show them the correct final reports across all of the levels. Then the variable we have next is show number of prints for account statement to a specific date, and that one is used when the facility wants to show the number of times a statement has been printed. So it basically just helps you monitor or audit how many times an account statement had been printed out. Moving on to the next variable, which is show number of document prints with user's name and number. And this helps you monitor how many times a document has been printed and by which users or by which user. Then the variable we have next is use saver day payment receipt in system. So this one is used in case the user wants to use payment and receipt saver day, and saver day means to temporarily execute the receipt and payment transactions for several documents without affecting the accounts of your safes or banks. And this is considered an optional step to record or save the requests before generating and editing the payment and receipt vouchers. If you activate this variable, you will get two new screens in the system, and those are payment saver day and receipt saver day in the general ledger transactions. This also will basically result the activation of the icon privileges, and when you click on it, you will get a window where you can assign the privilege of accepting the payment and receipt saver day requests by certain users. So those users are gonna accept those requests, and when the requests are accepted by these users or user, they will turn into payment and receipt vouchers. Okay, so the field, the number of decimal spaces after the sign, is used to determine how many decimal digits you'll be able to see. And the part about estimated budget is used if the facility wants to determine the way the estimated budget is set. And that's going to be based on two options that you can choose from. You can either do it monthly, which means that you can set an estimated budget for for different accounts monthly, then you can measure and audit the differences monthly as well, or annually. Annual basically means that you're doing that every financial year. And then the part about the main data on the right contains a button, data settings. When you click on it, it opens up the setup window, and basically through that window we can select the currency and financial period the chart of accounts will use. First, select the currency in the local currency screen, then you set up the financial periods in the second part of the screen, which is financial year. There are two variables in this screen, and they are related to giving the order to the system to create the chart of accounts based on the previous entries and the previous setup regarding the currencies and the financial periods, and also the variables that you've entered. And that option is fill accounts. The first variable is chart of accounts, and if you activate it, then the system will turn on the chart of accounts that is already existing by default in the database, and that is after clicking on create chart of accounts. The second variable is interface accounts, and when you activate that one, the system will automatically save the interface accounts in the intermediate account screens when you click on create chart of accounts. This concludes today's lecture. Thank you so much for listening. Please do not forget to subscribe and also follow us on Facebook and Instagram.